Hello there lads and ladies, welcome back finally to another Rugby World Cup 2022 video. Have you noticed, got my tattoo all sorted? Lovely, innit? Some nice, beautiful Japanese style clouds to go over my existing tattoos on my arm. I'll be talking about the experience in probably the tattoo story time after the one coming up after this weekend's games. But what better time to really have a Japanese style tattoo than to watch Japan take on Italy for the Rugby World Cup. So with that, lads and ladies, let's get into it.
Italy's penalty count through the roof.
It's a very close game. Japan are only following by 6 points, but that's because Italy just managed to get a superb try. Japan are now on the cusp of getting within the 22 metres of Italy. They're going to go for a line out here, but I think they've messed it up.
And that is a huge error from Otsuka.
Damn.
Absolutely, that was just a key moment. Just an opportunity.
Japan have a yellow card as well,
just to take the opportunities.
so they needed that 22. But Italy capitalised on Japan's mistake and they tap and go.
Down the blind side they go, Scorbini. Her feet a blur before
Imakuji only has like 2 minutes left on her yellow card timer, so she'll come on sooner or later. But for Japan to try and beat Italy, they need to get a try and they need to convert the points, so they have to go down the middle of the sticks if they hope to win this game. They've got 9 minutes left at least, so they have a chance.
Again, Turani, 70 minutes at tight head, but still carrying with force.
By the way, if you're wondering, I'm sporting a Japanese jersey because my god, it's gorgeous. You know, for a neutral, this is a really good jersey to wear because if you notice the collar, it actually is in the shape of how a gi would be, you know? It's got like the same like collar that goes under and one goes over, like how a ceremonial dress would look. Looks damn good, really look damn good. They even like the little cherry blossoms down here as well. It's gorgeous, really gorgeous.
Rolling through the contact, plucking it up, going again. Look at the leg drive, it's knocked on.
Knocked on by Italy. It's in Japan's hands now. They'll take a scrum.
Starting to wind the clock down a bit, you feel. Yeah, interesting there. They just took the tap there and have just worked it all the way up to the halfway line.
To play safe for Italy, like Italy are going to go through no matter what. Like I think based on points, depending on if USA beats Canada, which I highly doubt they will, Italy will go through no problem because if they're tied, I think the points difference will be fine for Italy. I might have to check on the points difference because I think Italy might have a higher points difference compared to USA, so I think they're safe. It just depends on what USA can do for Canada. If they can beat them, then well, they're going through no matter what, basically. But Japan need a win just to be on the contention board, basically.
You have to wait until I say bind. Keep your arm away from her. You keep your head left. Okay.
70-second cap there for Stefan, which is she scored against Japan before, so very apt time I think for her to be coming on the pitch.
Head check. Yep. It's by the doctor, not me, guys.
And Franco leaving the field.
One of the girls going off for our HIA, head injury assessment, if you don't know what that is.
Slightly late called out, but so important that protocols are followed.
I mean, yeah, it slows the game down, but at the end of the day, you want your players safe. That's all that matters, really. You know, I've always been an advocate for HIAs, really. You know, we've had a couple of incidences in my younger days playing rugby, where we had one of the kids, we were like 15, 16 at the time, barreled into this guy's knee. His face, it was horrible. His entire nose was like this, and blood was just dripping out of his nose like a fountain. It would not stop. At first we thought, okay, it's just a nosebleed, we'll let it bleed, but it was coming out way too much that we had to block it with something and then let it drain once or twice when, you know, he couldn't breathe. But then we had to plug it back up again because we were afraid that he might be losing too much blood. So we took him to the hospital, and the doctor said that he actually cracked
Pain management is key right now.
the bone in his nose, and it severed a nerve
Absolutely key.
somewhere in his nose, so it
Detain
barely
the
could
wounds,
help him
steady
breathe in a certain
steps,
sense. So they had to
Time in this
operate on
second
him there
half.
and there.
But it is messy.
But the thing he was most upset about was just not being able to breathe. He was fine about the nose. He's a tough bastard, but it's just his
6 minutes to play. 6 points to
allergies to hay fever and stuff like that. I've got hay fever myself, so I know what it's like to have trouble breathing, especially when you're out in the field and you're like rolling about in the grass and all that shit. We didn't care. We love rugby, so we just go out and do what we do, really. But him not being able to breathe, plus with his hay fever, it's kind of like, you know, he has to breathe through his mouth. So whenever he was breathing through his mouth during the operation, the doctor said he sounded like a horse that was kind of neighing from time to time. I'd love to have been there to see it, but thankfully he got out. He had a good surgery. The doctors took very good care of him, and yeah, just another reason to love the NHS, really. Absolute heroes to us.
There's 5 minutes left. So not only see us
Not much action has happened. Looking up to 20 seconds on the last 5 minutes. Italy are just on their way into the 40 metres of Japan's half.
Here is Veronese, her first carry.
They're just using their forwards to get through the smaller lines of Japan's line.
Backwards, but manages to place it.
Japan need to do something to turn this ball over. That's it. Throw all your ladies in there. Throw them in there. No. It's too many. 4 on 2. Oh, it doesn't matter. It was a forward pass. That was lucky. That was a lifesaver for Japan. They could have been screwed over there, but yeah, Italy mucked up and threw it forwards.
She really is offering up some fantastic goals, but they are just
Silly mistake. They had the numbers. The captain looking back at her. She's like, "What have you done? What have you done, you silly cow?" Japan want to have their wingers really far, so if they can throw it to the wing, they can have the opportunity to try and wrap around the Italian defence. The Italy defence, because the Italian defence, because the Italian defence is quite packed, so they can quickly pass off as quickly as possible and then make their way down to the wing. Whereas if you're already down to the wing, and if you just kick towards the wing, you'll be able to catch it easily and then get around the defence of the Italians, basically. Japan are actually going into the danger zone. What the fuck? The Japanese are just rushing straight into the forward pack. Okay, fair enough. We'll give them that. They're fearless. And have avoided the forwards as much as possible.
Japan would love to have the last say.
That might have been an obstruction, I'm not sure. Oh, I wouldn't have chucked it there. The winger's going to get snatched. Defender. Oh, off your feet. Ref, she was off her feet.
A mixed day for the fly half.
Okay.
Italy coming up with the turnover. And right
Holding.
at the heart of it, who else but Duca?
Okay, strange. The ball kind of went backwards from the Japanese ruck into the hands of someone who was already off her feet. So I thought, once she passed it up, I thought, okay, that's a penalty. Guess not. The penalty was actually for Japan holding the ball when Italy were coming over to take it. Strange. I thought they were going to get held up on, you know, the whole playing the ball off your feet thing. I guess maybe it's because she wasn't the tackler. Okay. I always forget that. I think to yourself, if when you're on your feet, you know, you can play the ball, but when you're off it, you know, there's always a rule never to play the ball. It just gets ingrained into you, but when you're the one carrying the ball, then that applies, but not when you're someone else. I guess that's fine then. I'm old school. I don't keep up to date much on the rules of today. I mean, apart from the 50-22 rule I've heard of, that's actually a nice addition. I would have loved to have had that back in the day when I used to play rugby. We could have gotten so many nice tries with the 50-22, like some nice line outs for us, really. That would have been so beautiful. Don't know how I feel about orange cards or, you know, light red cards that only do 20 minutes worth of simpings. This is a try for Italy by the looks of it. Yep, that's a try. Poor Japan. Poor Japan.
Golden generation. Andrea Di Giandomenico said they were at this World Cup to compete. Well, they're competing. looking all right.
Took him like 78 minutes though.
Fantastic play there by Tony, finishing off just an excellent there. Tirani there at number 1, just getting close to the try line. But a powerful finish there by Tony.
Very close
That's
between
her
them.
14th try for Italy.
You just got to think how differently it could have been if
I think that brings her level.
the fly half from Japan actually managed to hit that line on the inside of the 22-metre mark, basically, but she just went past it. She kicked way too far past it. Could have been another try for Japan.
An absolute joy on the face of the Italian replacements. Many of them haven't been called upon. The Italian coaches.
I mean, to be fair, Ellie still would have been in front by 3 points, so it doesn't really matter. Just shows Italy's experience here, really. I think Italy are probably, the women at least, are probably, if it's not for France and England, probably top of the board, I think, for the Six Nations. Italy are very good at their teamwork.
12 points for Sillery.
The kicks are very good as well. They've improved on their kicks, which is nice to see.
She's found her range off the tee.
They've got some hefty forwards as well. They've got some big forwards. I thought Fiji's forward was big, but my God, some of these Italian forwards are massive.
"15 seconds left on the clock. It's heading.
Could be a chance here for
towards the red.
Japan to
It's all
possibly
been
get a
about
pity
the
try
today.
if they just
The
rush
Assyrians
in now.
got their noses in front early on.
You know, 2-on-1. There's 3-on-1 here. They could take her down. They tried, but there's not much they can do. Japan's got the ball. Italy are holding on to it. Oh no, she said let go. Oh, okay. I thought Japan had that. Alright. Thought Japan were going to hold on to it. Wants to beat her. Italy can choose to leave this, but no, it's out. Game's over. Well done, Italy. Well done.
They've been dubbed the golden generation.
Well done, Italy. Well done. Well done. Japan, close. They got very close. They got a try and a penalty kick. They've tried. They've given a nice little attempt at this World Cup. So nice to see them play. I can't wait for the 2023 World Cup with the men, because honestly, I would love to see another Brighton miracle. Being there for that day back in 2015 was just absolutely legendary. It was so nice to have the rugby come home to England and then watch, you know, Japan actually fight and beat the Springboks, basically. So it was just so nice to see that. So that's kind of what like sparked my love for Japanese rugby, really. And it's nice to see that the ladies have the same principles. It's just their techniques are a little bit less disciplined in a certain sense. I feel like with just a little bit more time, I feel like with a bit more coaching and some shared team exercises between the men and the women, I think the women can be right up there with the same level of practice, at least with the men. It just needs time and patience and really an awful lot of love and care and tender loving, really, when it comes to rugby. You know, you gotta, this is something that you can't just like run in and join. You've got to learn the set pieces and the set plays, and you know, you've got to gel well with the teammates and all that. It all has to cohesively work as one for one single set play to work, really. So Japan's got a long way to improve, but Italy, even though they're very good, they were very tested this day against Japan, so you know, they deserve the win. So well done to these two. Now we are going to go to the next one, which is the long-awaited USA versus Canada. I have a feeling Canada will take this one, but I think USA will give them one hell of a fight. So, well, lads and ladies, I will see you in the next episode of Rugby 2022 World Cup. See you in a bit, my friends.